Hello again, my name is Sandra Esinamapeno and I'm back with more business news, and we want to stay on the budget because Chief Executive of State Interest and Governance Authority, Stephen Asamoah-Boateng, has disclosed discussions have begun to find innovative ways of taxing state-funded enterprises to rake in the necessary revenue to support the 2020 budget. According to him, some of the enterprises have been directed to engage with the Ghana Revenue Authority in making the process easier. Stephen Asamoah-Boateng spoke to Joy Business in Parliament after the budget presentation.
Government revenue from several state enterprises have been low due to inefficiencies in their operations. Again, failure to pay taxes to the state has also created a revenue gap for infrastructural development. Chief Executive of the State Interest and Governance Authority, Stephen Asamoah-Boateng, says his outfit has begun engagement with the Ghana Revenue Authority to find a lasting solution to the revenue challenges from the sector.
Well, it's a question of trying to understand what taxes are they looking for. Because I remember last week, GRA and I had a meeting, very serious, because there were other my companies, they were trying to go in and find out what's going on. So I engaged them and realized that there are areas that they should not be taxing them. But there are areas also like the VAT, which automatically that the company collects must go to GRA. So really, it's a question of myself and the Ministry of Finance and the GRA having a collaboration. And what I intend to do is to put in their performance contracts, their statutory obligations, so that I can supervise that they are paying the statutory obligation. It's a kind of collaborative work which we are trying to do to bring in the money.
Meanwhile, Member of Parliament for Cape Coast South constituency, Kweku Ricketts Hagan, has urged government to credit the previous government in many of the economic successes chalked during the 3 years. According to the former Deputy Trade Minister, the current government has not been able to deliver on good economic growth as promised during the 2016 elections.
At the end of the day, why is the economy growing? Because people have power to power their industries. Why is the economy growing? Because doomsday is no more. This is an investment that has been done for the economy to grow, which they are touting today. As a result of investment in the oil sector, that is why we are seeing the growth. As a result of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama taking us to the IMF, a very difficult, tough, but necessary decision is what has, over the last 5 years, brought us the fiscal discipline that we are enjoying today. And in addition to fiscal responsibility,
so in simple terms, you are saying the economic successes that we've chalked are all attributed to the policies and whatever programs of the former president.
Any good economist will tell you that if you implement economic policies, it takes about 2 to 3 years for those policies to have an impact on the economy, especially if those policies are fiscal in nature, fiscal policy. Monetary policies tend to take a shorter time. You can tweak interest rate and change certain things in the economy. But if you want to bring down deficit, debt, and do all the macroeconomic stuff, policies, it takes a while.
In other news tonight, the national year-on-year inflation rate has hit 7.7% in October, up by 0.1% from 7.6% in September. According to the Ghana Statistical Service, month-on-month inflation between September and October 2019 was 0.4%, with alcoholic beverages, tobacco, narcotics and transport recording the highest inflation rates. That's more in this report.
According to the government statistician, Professor Samuel Kobna-Aiden, food remains the main driver of inflation in Ghana. Compared to previous months, transport is now a larger driver of inflation, totally due to the increased prices in both bus fares and fuel.
Between August and September, it was minus 0.1%, and between September and October, it is 0.4%. And again, this is why at the very early stage of the presentation, we always say that we need to be sensitive to the time dimension within which we are measuring the inflation figure.
Food and non-alcoholic beverages division recorded a year-on-year inflation rate of 7%, accounting for a 1.5% point lower than what was recorded in September 2019.
In terms of commodities that have driven, or divisions that have driven these changes, alcohol, narcotics continue to drive this, but again, emphasis on the fact that the driver depends on the weight that it comes with it. And we have earlier on mentioned that the weight associated with alcohol compared to food is relatively low. That is why we see food and non-alcoholic beverages still with about 7.0%, whereas alcohol and narcotics is recording 13.2%.
At the regional level, the year-on-year inflation ranged from 3.6% in the Upper East, 6% in the Upper West, 6.9% in the Northern region, 11.8% in the Greater Accra region.
The Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) has listed CBG branches for investors to begin validation process. Details plus more in the business news summaries.
$71.5 billion in bids from dealers, businesses and banks that participated in its third forex forward sale. This means the central bank got more in bids than the $25 million that it was willing to sell in its forward forex sale. The Securities and Exchange Commission has asked investors whose funds are locked up in the 53 collapsed fund management companies to visit some specific branches of the Consolidated Bank Ghana to begin processes to retrieve the investment. The regulator has designated CBG branches, which will from November 18 open to receive from clients of the affected fund management companies. The association has assured the investing public of the ability of the existing fund management companies to serve the needs and protect the investment, according to the Business and Financial Times. This comes a day after the revocation of licenses of 53 fund management firms by the Securities and Exchange Commission for various contraventions of the law.
In commodities news tonight, crude oil sold for $62.45 a barrel. Gold went for $1,146.11 an hour. The market update is next. That's all for business tonight. My name is Sandra Esinamap, and you can get more news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. Do have a great evening.